Hello fellow FPL managers and welcome to a Game Week 14 preview and a quick look back at Game Week 13 where big news of the weekend would have been Mourinho coming in for his first game at Spurs, a thriller in Sheffield with 3-3 with United fighting back and then Sheffield getting that last minute winner. Arsenal getting a last gasp win against the Saints side who just squandered so many chances. Leicester still on the charge with that Vardy almost losing points and Maddison scoring and then that getting cancelled out and then Vardy taking the penalty and scoring that one again. Norwich getting 3 points away from home and getting they doubled their goal tally for away goals this season, and Burnley thrashing Watford 3-0. I did the match of the day challenge and I thought it was a really good day for Saturday action, and of course as well Man City beating Chelsea, but with the least amount of possession they've had in Pep Guardiola's entire tenure at Man City. But yeah, so in match of the day challenge, where that's where you sort of turn off your phone and you don't look at the scores, and then I wake up Sunday morning and I don't know any of the scores, so match of the day is very exciting. And I was thinking, even when I saw Bournemouth and Wolves as the last game of the game week, I was thinking, oh god, I've brought in Raul Jimenez, and of course he's going to blank and Bournemouth are going to get for some reason another 0-0. I've got Rico sat on my bench. What a nightmare. And even that, the last game of match of the day finishes a 2-1. So it was a fantastic weekend of action and a decent-ish game week for me. So 59 points, 10 points ahead of the average. I'm up about 100,000 places now to 1.2 million. I'm eking. I'm slowly creeping back to get inside that top million, something that I'm aiming to do in the next 2 game weeks. Pope, again, 9 points. It was funny. 2 weeks ago, people were saying, Pope, is it time to get rid? He's not doing it. And he's gone back-to-back 9-pointers. And even with that sticky fixture run that he's got coming up, you can see City and Tottenham. I'm probably not going to take him out because I'll just be bringing him back, and it's going to be sideways if I go to someone like Ryan, or maybe even Henderson might be a good option, but even I'm still a little bit iffy about doubling up on a Sheffield United defence. Lord Lundstrom got everyone excited when Sheffield United had a clean sheet and he had an assist. It was going to be another crazy week. He's down to 3 points, but that's not too bad. Willems, disappointing. Newcastle getting beat away at Aston Villa. TAA, this is an interesting conversation that people are having now, where now, you look at since game week 8, 3-2-1, 7-2-2. Is he worth his price tag? I think now coming up with the fixtures, Brighton, Everton, Bournemouth, Watford, I think it'd be daft if they get rid of him. He's still, when you're watching him play, he's still so incredible. Him, and then Robertson, I'm not going to go sideways. I think I spoke on my wildcard game week 3 from Robertson to TAA. I'm not going to go sideways again to Robertson because, then TAA is going to bang. And I think if I'm going to stick with one, I'm just going to stick with TAA. If anything, I'll double up on that Liverpool defence. And then Sionchu came off the bench for me because I had Salah. To get me 6 points in that 2-0 away win at Brighton. Mane as my captain was the best captaincy choice I could have made. So this is the second time this whole season where I've actually chosen the correct captain from my side. Tielemans, no. De Bruyne, yes. He managed to, I think it was a goal, wasn't it? Against Chelsea. He looked dangerous. He looked like the best City player on the pitch, arguably the best player on the pitch. Mount came on for a cameo, which I actually felt this is why my question was, who should I play, Mount or Sionchu? And fortunately, Sionchu came off the bench, but I had a feeling Mount was going to get dropped. But I've played a defender over an attacking player before, and it's really bit me when I didn't play Pukki against Man City. So I'm a little bit worried about that. But I think he's going to be back. I'm hoping he's going to be back. I think it was tactical reasons why he was left out of the Etihad. Let's hope that's the case. Tammy, no, unsurprisingly, against City. And Jimenez with that nice link-up play with Traore getting a goal against Bournemouth. And I made my transfers early, again, pre-planned. It's stuff that I've taught on the stream. I apologize that I didn't stream on Friday. I did tweet out that actually Friday I've torn my hamstring, which was incredibly painful. I was at the hospital getting it all scanned up. It was a grade 2 tear, which isn't great. Still really uncomfortable. Now I'm back at work, especially walking around. It's pretty painful, so I wasn't able to on Friday. Hopefully, I'll be back this Friday. I have to work late on Friday, though, so I will keep you posted, so maybe follow me on Twitter, and I'll definitely post on there. But that'll be about 12 o'clock UK time, which is about 8 o'clock my time. And I made my transfers early with pre-planned, and it's to get Vardy, Abraham, and Jimenez up front. I know a few people are having this now, and that's fine, because this is something I mentioned weeks ago. I just didn't want to take, -8, -12 hits to make it happen early. And I needed to get Vardy in, not just because of his form, but now that I've gotten him, this is great, because now everyone else who has him will have a horrible time, because the doubt is going to, people say, oh, he's not sustainable, not sustainable. I should have brought it. He was supposed to be coming in last week against Brighton, but I couldn't take the hit. I had other things I wanted to do. But 26, 12, 12, you just can't ignore it. With 41.2% ownership, it's an absolute rank killer. I've been lucky to sort of keep going in the ranks without Jamie Vardy right now, especially those who gave him the captain's armband. But he's still got Everton, Watford, Villa and Norwich. And even against City, Liverpool, I'm not really scared to keep hold of him. He could be a season keeper. I don't like saying that, but we'll see. And Kevin De Bruyne, with a heavy, heavy heart, has made way. But that allowed me now to create a squad of 14 out of my 15 players as proper first team players. Now, Rico's probably the least likely here, but he's still safe until Bournemouth get over their injury concerns at the back. But why KDB, not, for example, Salah? Because I'm just backing Liverpool in this fixture run. I think from game week 18, I might swap Salah back to, say, KDB. But man, as good as KDB looked, I think fixtures and form, there's just something a little bit off about Man City. I felt I had a choice. Do I have Greenwood at United, who funnily enough scored against Sheffield United? Traore. Basically, it was Traore, Vardy against KDB and Greenwood. And with Christmas coming up, you need to have rotation plays. Maybe you're going to play a bench boost during like a double game week, which will be after. But I wanted to now move into a sort of a full playing squad. And it was between really Salah and Kevin De Bruyne to help me get this Vardy, Jimenez, Abraham partnership at the top. Of course, Salah could go and I could upgrade Abraham or Jimenez to maybe Jesus might be a good option at Manchester City. But I'm a little bit worried about Pep saying things about Sterling possibly as that number 9 down the middle role. So I'm easing off on that. Maybe even someone like Firmino, swap Salah for Firmino for the extra cash. But when I took Salah out and it gave me the extra money and I kept Kevin De Bruyne, I didn't really want to put that money anywhere else. I'm quite happy with the team. I know Tielemans and Mount might be an issue. I'll talk about Mount later on, but now I'm happy with the whole balance of the squad. Traore is even pushing to start in this game against Sheffield United. I just don't want anyone to take out. And I know an issue that you can see here now is I've got 2 Chelsea players, 3 Leicester players, and 3 Liverpool players. But both Leicester and Liverpool are in great form. They've got great fixtures, so I'm not really that worried about that. And a lot of people as well have been saying, and I did post this on Twitter, saying like, oh, Vardy, Abraham, Jimenez, everyone's got that. It's not really a differential. And actually less than 3%, less than 4% of all teams in FPL have that trio of a combination. As well as, Vardy, Tielemans, Sionchu, so many people have got that as well. Again, that's not true. It's less than 4%. I did post this on my Twitter. I'll see if I can just post it up right now. So Vardy, Abraham, Jimenez is owned by 3.88% of the game, which is not a lot at all as a trio. I know a lot of people have Vardy and Abraham, but it's again putting Jimenez in there to make it that sort of differential. And then as well, people say, oh, Mane, Salah. I sort of combine the names there. A lot of people now have got Mane. His ownership's gone up over 40%. Salah now is down to under 25%. So perhaps just he is a differential. But having 2 of them, something again which I mentioned weeks and weeks ago, and that was the plan. And you can see I achieved the plan. Only 3.13% have this combination. And I feel as though it's scary tripling up. I'm not a fan of it. And I sort of did it by accident. I looked at the players, I looked at the price, I looked at the form, I looked at the fixtures, and just, you cannot ignore Liverpool, Leicester, and Chelsea right now. And sometimes, having these extra doubts, which they're garbage stats. They're pointless stats. Oh, you can't have 3 of them. What if they lose? What? Yeah, but that's this game, isn't it? What if? What if they win? You know, if I'd have had 3 lesser assets during that Southampton 9-0 drubbing, I'd probably be 50 points better off right now. So these are the players I'm going to go forward with. So that's going to be the roundup for this week, and we'll have a look at the review from last week. So players to avoid Chelsea. I still thought that Chelsea was going to be too strong. Man City was going to be too strong, and that did turn out. But fair play to Chelsea. They did have a good game, but, you know, there was a Kovacic assist with a Kante goal. No one got any points from Chelsea last game week. I think a lot of us kicked ourselves for having Mount come on for a short cameo, but Sheffield United plays to pick. So again, I put a tick here, but I guess it's a little bit iffy. I did this because Mousset's becoming a popular choice as a third striker. He bagged a goal. Luncham got an assist. Fleck got an assist. Fleck got a goal. McBurney got a goal. We're not really looking at Sheffield United strikers. So it's a little bit of a cheeky tick here, I guess. Vardy, 12 points again. Ridiculous. Sterling, hugely unlucky that he's not got a tick this game week. I'm happy that, I know it's going to sound horrible, I'm happy that goal didn't stand because I took him out. So his armpit was offside, which took away his goal, or he would have been sat here with a tick. And just speaking about Sterling, people say, you know, oh, how can you take Sterling out? For example, they've got Newcastle next week. He's going to face that defense. But with someone like Sterling, with the price that it is, you sort of want him to return every week. So if he gets a goal and let's say he gets 10 points against Newcastle, and you've owned Sterling from the start of the season, and you're not going to really say to people, see, Sterling, double-digit haul, here we go, told you all. But then you're thinking, yeah, but you've had him all season, and he's got 10 points now, but he's at the amount of blanks he's got and the amount of captaincy places that he's ruined for those game weeks doesn't make up for this one time he got a 10-digit haul. It's something like in the first 2 game weeks he got something like 34, or he got 33 points, something like that. And then from game week 3 all the way to game week 13, he got 34 points. So it's just kind of like he hasn't been worth holding. We all held him. We all felt, even, you know, Watford at home, this is great. Yeah, they're going to smash him. He didn't play. He's not really done very well this season FPL-wise. Yes, he's been unlucky. Yes, he still looks good, but I do not regret getting rid of him. Richarlison was a punt for quite a few people. And like I mentioned earlier, Everton lost at home to Norwich, who had not picked up a win away all season, had scored 1 goal away all season, and Everton lost 2-0. Again, showing just how toothless this Everton attacking side is. Deulofeu didn't pick up anything in that drubbing by Burnley, 3-0, really poor result. But Lacazette, the shining light in the place to take a risk on here, with 2 goals in that. Again, poor performance from Arsenal, but 2 goals from Lacazette. Good differential amount of points there for those of you that went with Lacazette. So there's quite a lot to talk about for this game week, and the players to avoid, pick, and the differentials to take a risk on. So I'm going to start off with not a rant, but just a discussion about Spurs. Now, I'm not trying to be a party pooper or say I'm going to be a point chaser and 3 weeks' time Spurs are amazing and we'll try to fight to bring in Spurs assets. But I do feel as though we need to just calm down a little bit with Tottenham Hotspur. So first, beating West Ham, a team who hasn't won in 7 league games, 3-2, you know, you're 3-0 up and you almost blow it with 3 and you win 3-2, isn't a season-defining moment really for me. Spurs were in a rut, they were in poor form, but West Ham were looking a lot worse. Second, when talking about Spurs assets, they're not cheap. 8.4 million Dele Alli, you've got 9.7 million Heung-min Son, you've got 8.7 Christian Eriksen, 10.8 million Harry Kane. It's tough to take a point on these players that are priced so high when you've got so many great players in great form for great prices for teams, you know, better form and better fixtures. So sure, if you're going off someone like Mohamed Salah, which a lot of people are, or Raheem Sterling or Sergio Aguero, then it could be a good plan to shift to Spurs. But I wouldn't be taking points hits or doing some squad surgery just to get Spurs players in my side right now. Next, the fixtures for Spurs. So yeah, they play Bournemouth at home. It's a winnable game. Not great defensively a lot of the time, Bournemouth. But then they're going to play Manchester United, Burnley, Wolves and Chelsea. And that's not an easy run of fixtures, especially when you compare them again to these other teams. So on both accounts of cheaper players in better form for better prices and better fixtures, you just got to really look at Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, Leicester and Wolves. All of these, maybe not Arsenal, but they do have better fixtures, maybe better player options. Certainly Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal and Wolves have a real good run of fixtures, great price players, really good form. And I feel like I'd be going towards there rather than just going straight to Spurs right now just because of a new manager. So finally, speaking of the new manager, Jose Mourinho, I do really rate him as a manager. His record, speaks volumes. But he's not known for creating these exciting attacking sides similar to what we see from Liverpool, City or even Leicester and sometimes a team like Bournemouth. He has had park the bus memes following him around, and for good reason, unless he's gone away and really changed his philosophy and coaching style, similar to what I remember Ian Holloway doing before he joined Blackpool. He was in a bit of a rut. I think he was at Plymouth for a while. He went away, he said, right, I want to learn, I want to change. He went to Blackpool, he took them to the Premier League. He had a really good chance with them. But with Spurs, expect them to go 1 or 2 goals up and then sort of play it safe and park the bus. So one of your assets might get a goal or might get an assist, but then they'll just sit back and keep it tight. So if your player hasn't been involved in that one or that second goal that Spurs get, then the rest of the game is pretty painful to watch. So for me, I'm just going to plead caution and patience with Spurs and sort of just wait a little bit longer, because I just feel like there's so many players out there in midfield and attack that are better options than Spurs right now. If you want to get on there and you want to have a punt, and like I said, you try to get rid of Sterling or Salah and you've got that money, you want to downgrade, I'd probably lean towards Dele Alli if I had to choose. I still feel like the likes of Son, Eriksen still might not even play. Son is expensive, unless maybe you're going out from Kevin De Bruyne, fancy a punt. Kane, again, he still drops deep. It won't be for me. If I was going to go somewhere, it'd be 8.4 million Dele Alli, but I just feel like so many players out there that are better options. Next, to avoid, I'm going to stick with, these are in the same part of each other, Everton and West Ham. I sort of mentioned it a bit earlier, so I'm putting these two together for the same reason. That's because their managers look like dead men walking. I said in last week's video that West Ham and Spurs, that game looked really interesting because both managers were under severe pressure, and then lo and behold, before the game starts and after my video, Poch got sacked and Pellegrini just looks on the way out. Marco Silva had the easiest start on the season ticker with Everton to this season, and even facing Norwich at home, who had scored 1 goal and got 1 point away from home all season, couldn't manage it. The players on both teams look uninterested and they play without any sort of fight or desire or care for themselves, the team, the manager. And I think the only reason or the only way that they're going to get out of this is really with a new manager. And then when this happens, I think even more eyes are going to be looking at Unai Emery, because if Everton and West Ham were not looking so poor right now, I think there would be even more pressure on Emery at Arsenal. So moving on players to pick. So my first one here is going to be Marcus Rashford, and it's more of a 1 week punt now for me. So 8.6 million, 15.1% ownership. But I'll be looking at this player more seriously sort of from game week 17. But Rashford has been flying right under the radar. He's got 7 goals and 4 assists in the Premier League this season. And in his last 5 game weeks, he's got 9 points, 9 points, 2 points, 5 points, 11 points. And now he sits as the 3rd best striker in FPL right now, joint with Aubameyang, and ahead of the likes of Aguero, Firmino, Salah and Sterling. All for 8.6 million and around 15% ownership. I think that makes him a very, very good differential. Granted, United are hugely inconsistent, but the likes of, I'm going to say Martial as well as Rashford here, they're nailed on players, and I only see the team improving when Paul Pogba comes back. And they face Aston Villa at home this weekend, and I see Rashford having a pretty good game week. So speaking of Aubameyang, 11 million, 23.3% ownership. It feels mean again, but we're targeting Norwich. Despite their great win against Everton last week, I can't see them keeping Aubameyang or Lacazette at bay. I recommended Lacazette last week and he bagged 2 goals, and I still feel the Frenchman is a very good choice. But I do feel as though Aubameyang is going to want to get back to scoring ways. He's just got 1 goal in the last 6 games, so I'm expecting a double-digit haul from this man. But it is Arsenal, so you never know. But also after this game, Aubameyang and Arsenal have Brighton and West Ham, which I also believe are good games for the Gambian hitman. And finishing off with pick, it feels obvious, it feels boring. They're both there. I can't not suggest Mane and Vardy. I even suggested Vardy as my number one striker choice in my pre-season video. He's just still going. You can say he's not sustainable, but at the end of the day, points are on the board. You can call him a stat buster. It doesn't matter. The points are on the board. You don't care. If you're a Vardy owner in these last sort of 5 game weeks, you can call him any name under the sun. He's getting you a lot of points. Both are just continuously going up in price and ownership percentage. Mane now is the same price as Salah with 12.2 million there if you want to bring him into the side, and 40% ownership. And Vardy up to 9.7 million with 41.2% ownership. Now they are in amazing form. They're the top 2 FPL players right now. And now it's getting to the stage where it's dangerous not to have them. This isn't that sub 10% differential Vardy that I was recommending. I think it was 4 or 5 weeks ago when I said right now's the time to bring Vardy in, which I didn't do. And Mane was earlier when Salah was the number one choice, and Mane was around like say 20%. We're in dangerous territory now where not having these players where almost half of the game do, it's a real rank killer. So I think even if you're thinking, I was like, I can do without Vardy. I know he's doing really well, but say he's on like 15% ownership. I'll survive. I don't want to mess my team around too much. I'm liking having a really good midfield, 5-man midfield. I've got Kevin De Bruyne, but even now I'm having to suffer not having Kevin De Bruyne because I look at the fixtures and the form and I feel that Vardy's going to outscore KDB in the next 5 game weeks. That is how a lot of people must be feeling right now, so I do feel like it is the time to bring in Jamie Vardy, and if you haven't already, it's Sadio Mane. Now, risk, the interesting one, there's quite a few I was thinking about for taking a risk on this game week. So my number one choice here is going to be Danny Ings, 6 million and 4%. Is he a sexy and stylish pick? No. But is he a player who for 6 million is a great option as a third striker in a front 3, or even someone, you can rotate on the bench? Yeah, I think he's a fantastic choice. He's not high in terms of stats and shots in the penalty area or penalty area touches, but he does have a very attractive price, amazing fixtures, and pretty good form. He's a 10th best striker in FPL right now, and the Saints have a fixture run of Watford and Norwich at home in the next 2 game weeks, and that doesn't get any tastier. Then Newcastle away and West Ham at home, all of these games in the next 4 game weeks. And like I said, as a cheap 6 million, 4% owned nailed on striker, I think is a really interesting and tempting option. Next up, and it's going to be a player I've recommended before, 7.1 million, 3%, it's Willian at Chelsea. And there's a little bit of math here for you guys, which is going to be coming up. But most people, when we talk about Chelsea, and it's the same points I mentioned before, Tomori, Abraham, Mount, Pulisic, and some still sticking to Hudson-Odoi like a barnacle. Now, I'm not suggesting really removing or cutting down your Chelsea assets. Only Hudson-Odoi due to lack of minutes, but Tomori due to clean sheets. Now, less than 10% owned Tomori. I think it's around 8%. And I understand that, but there are so many defensive assets out there that I actually think Tomori isn't worth that third Chelsea space with the points per million you can get further up the field. Abraham is the most owned player in FPL at 51.1%. Mount is still at 31.1%. And Pulisic keeps rising and rising. He's extremely popular in the last 2 game weeks. He's up to 13.3%, meaning that if you have these 3, so do 2.23% of all of the teams, which isn't high. But not a lot of people have Pulisic. A lot have Mount, and over half of the game have Tammy Abraham. But swap Mount for Willian, and you are looking at an ownership of 0.15% of managers in the game, which is an incredible differential. Willian is massively overlooked, but he's consistent, and he's right now the least rotated player attacking-wise at Chelsea right now. We've seen Pulisic dropped, we've seen Mount dropped. Abraham lasts maybe about 70 minutes before he gets subbed off. Willian seems just the least rotated. He's 4th for chances created behind Kevin De Bruyne, Maddison, and surprisingly Snodgrass in the last 4 game weeks. And in the last 4 game weeks as well, he's 4th for goal attempts, all with midfielders behind Son, Pulisic, and Salah. And I just feel that if you've got Abraham, Mount, and Pulisic, that's a good differential, 2.23%, but I just feel that if you take Mount out, who hasn't really been in good form, he has just been dropped, you know, you're looking at a 2.23% team ownership of all 7 million managers. Going down to 0.15 that is turning a really good shield with a little sword into a shield with like a massive throwing spear and a morning star for me. Willian is going to be a choice here. And finally, a player that I've mentioned in streams before and my possible replacement for Mount. Due to money, I would do the Willian move if I could. But due to money, this could be my Mount replacement next game week. It's Wilfried Zaha, 6.6 million, 7.7% ownership. So he's a good differential there. Finally off the mark, breaking his duck for the season with a goal against Liverpool. Took it really well. Now, a game against Burnley away isn't the most appealing, but it could be worth bringing in the Ivorian a week ahead of schedule to see if he can string some form together. You know, goal last week, goal this week, and then he can take that on into Palace's really good run. After Burnley, they've got a really good 7-game run as Crystal Palace over the next month or two, so the Christmas period. And Zaha is just nailed on. He's their best. Well, you know, people will say he's their best player, and I think he's a great option for those games. So random stat to end on. He's the 3rd joint highest player for take-ons with 26 in the last 4 game weeks. So I'm going to end on that random note for you guys. So if you like the video, please leave a like, maybe subscribe if you're new. Hopefully I'll stream this Friday, but I'll let you know on Twitter if that isn't possible. Let me know in the comments below who's your differential actually for this game week. So players to pick are getting a little bit more obvious now, but who is in your side with less than 10% ownership who you think is a little diamond in the rough. So thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Follow me on Twitter at tricky_D. That's not a lie. Sorry, that is a lie because it's now RobWD90 because I changed it. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. Please leave comments, follow me on Twitter, and subscribe and give it a like and all that stuff. So hopefully it helps as well, guys. And hopefully I'll see you on Friday. So as always, have a good one.